There we go. Well, that's perfect timing. Oh, man. The hell? Yeah, so that's an auspicious start to season 3. Anyway, this is Sketch Weekly. I'm Caliban Darklock. I'm not wearing pants. Where are my knickers at? I keep saying I'm going to start doing that as my intro, and then I never do. I don't know. Maybe I should keep doing it. Maybe I shouldn't. Leave a comment if you think I should keep doing it. Since there's only one person in the world who's not going to be watching this on YouTube. But he's my head moderator on the Discord, so he has to show up. If he doesn't, he feels like he's not doing his job. Actually, he's just a really nice guy, and we're really good friends. Okay, so that's my screen cleaned. And one of the things I've been thinking about all week long is, well, to be perfectly honest, Starfield. That's what I've been thinking about all week long. But I've also been thinking about, as I was sitting here playing Starfield, I've also been thinking about how I'm getting ready to start my 3rd year of streaming every week. And I haven't missed a week in 2 years, over 2 years, because the first season was 60 episodes long. So it was like 2 years and 2 months. And I have not missed a single week. My internet was down 1 week, and I recorded the stream by myself and uploaded it. I always get shit out there. But one of the things that I've been noticing over the course of these last 2 years, I mean, I still have most of the same problems I had in the very beginning. I still have trouble drawing faces. I still have trouble drawing multiple characters in the same scene, largely because I'm just terribly bad at representing relative sizes. Like if I've got one person that's taller than another person, that doesn't stay consistent from one image to the next because I don't pay any fucking attention to it. And I'm not good at that. And I need to develop that. But that's a tiny, small little issue. And what I've really been thinking about has always been an issue is, I have always had trouble with blending colors. So let's take a relatively simple gradient here. Let's grab foreground to transparent, foreground to background. Let's go foreground to background. We'll go white foreground, black background, and that should give us a nice, no, that's not the hell. There we go. So if we do that, and then we take and go back to our key tool, we create a new rectangle. And what I want to do is, I want to take this rectangle and fill it with, I want to fill it with white. And then let's move that down again, and we'll fill it with black. Okay, so we've got black and white are kind of the... I didn't do a good job on that gradient, did I? I really didn't. Well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, here we have a black gradient. Here we have a black square and a white square, and what I want to try to do is I want to take my brush and I want to try to kind of blend these two together. I want to kind of get a blend from black to white. I'm going to start with black over here, and then I'm going to try a couple of different methods of doing this, and one of them is obviously going to be, let's use the blending brush. Let's try to blend this in here like so. And we can blend in both directions. I'm immediately noticing something, which is that I have a tendency to want to blend vertically. Yes, actually, that's not bad. Then, just smudge in the opposite direction. So, that, how does that work out? Not bad. Once you have the initial bands, you can really smooth it out by cross lines. I want to tighten that up. Okay, let's try doing the opposite down here on this one. Start off with a fairly large area of white over here. Then we'll switch over to the blending brush and just go, okay, let's blend the white in that direction. Blend the black in that direction. Let's see if working in vertical. Working in verticals actually seems to do a pretty good job, and then be smoothed by just kind of smooth in both directions. I don't feel like I'm getting the result I'm going for. I feel like it's resulting in. I don't feel like it's resulting in the kind of blend that I want. It is resulting in a blend, but it's not resulting in a blend that I'm happy with, if that makes sense. Okay, let's go back to a brush, and we're going to start with, okay, so let's take that layer and we'll dump it. We'll create a new layer. Move that layer down here. Not going to dump it. I'm going to put it down here, and now we're going to try. We're going to try this again. Actually, let's use this wonderful little thing here. We can select an area right here, and we can go, okay, we want to cut and paste that, and that's going to give us, so it should get, well, be on the right. If we cut and paste, that's going to create a new layer for us. And that new layer will have just that on. So now we've got that, and let's begin with substantial a substantial white rectangle. Here's our white rectangle here. And then we'll take some black. Let's try using this soft shading brush. Okay, so this is giving me a kind of build-up. And I created this with the intent of doing this kind of thing. Just kind of never used it. So it does kind of get in there. What if I wanted to okay, let's try something. What I want to try on this is I want to go back to my line brush here. I just want to make myself a nice, bold, white area. And now I'm going to drag a guideline out of here and turn off snapping to the guideline. And we're going to come up here to this layer. And what I want to do is I want to have mostly black over here on this side. But I want that black kind of end right here. That actually works pretty well. Do that for like edges. If I want a really sort of wide that actually gives me a pretty good edge on that. And I can switch back to my line, go to hard edge, and clean up those edges. So if I were to okay, so if I were to jump in here and say I'm going to, well, let's create another new layer. We'll turn this one off. Like I have to sneeze. And of course it disappears after that. Doesn't want to play ball, as usual. I do need to blow my nose, though. Try not to deafen you with that, because I'm old and blow my nose like an elephant. Okay, so let's start with a kind of skin tone of some sort. How's that for a skin tone? That's a good skin tone. That is not a bad skin tone at all. Okay, so we're going to start with that. And now what I would like to do is I would like to shade this. And in order to shade that, what we want to do is we want to darken and desaturate. So get that in there. And we'll get kind of the basic idea of what we're doing, what we're trying to create. Clean up that line. And then come down here to our soft shade, just kind of along here. Seem to be doing what I expected it to be doing. We start with that there. That actually does smooth it in. Of course, there that terminator, what we want is to want to have skin color. We want to have a kind of red edge there. That there. Some. I don't like what happened with the blending brush there. I don't like what happened with the red tone there. That. Reduce that size substantially. Kind of trace this edge here. Just kind of. And then we'd want a kind of a highlight color. Saturate and lighten. It's there. Then we'll kind of highlight that. It needs to be more light. Yeah, also. And we that. So then that would be our kind of I don't know how I feel about the look of this. Kind of muddy. Let's try that again. Start with some kind of basic skin tone. Alignment. Then from that basic skin tone, we want to now have a shading color. Which is hue shifted. What? There's our shade at the bottom. And then we want to saturate a bit more a bit more red and move to our soft brush to that edge. That edge needs to be narrower. It's not. See, I have the academic knowledge to get the things that I'm supposed to do here. I need to lay down a skin tone, and then that skin tone needs to have a highlight, and it needs to have a shadow. But then that shadow needs to that shadow needs to blend in, depending on how curved the area is. Now that's interesting. There's a thing going on here that makes this part up here, this part is starting to look kind of muddy, because you can see there's a kind of a band here in between the shadow and the highlight. The highlight is making the skin color look muddier, whereas the shadow is making skin look brighter. Back to our soft shade brush. This is designed to kind of scrub repeat area. All right, so skin tone. Starting with the skin tone, we go shadow color. Dark shadow. And after the shadow two, then we switch to the soft shade brush and do this area. I want to do this until it blends in. And it depends on how wide this is supposed to be, because all of this depends on the curve of the This depends very much on the curve of the surface you're shading, because you've got a surface that's very, very curved like this. Like, I'm kind of envisioning this being a thigh or some such thing, okay? And because it's kind of a gentle curve, that's one kind of shading, but if it were a tighter curve or an actual corner, that would be a different kind of shading. Like if we were to shade into the corner area like so, we would begin by having our initial skin tone here. And after we've laid in our initial skin tone, when we lay in the shadow basically comes all the way up to here and stops. If it's a rounded corner, there may be a little kind of round over, but not much of one. That would round over a little, but not a whole lot. Now, over here on this one, we'd run into the same kind of thing, where we start with our base skin tone, and then we've got the shadow down here, and that shadow would come in, but as we round it over, it would get substantially softer. It would do that sort of thing. That's not bad. I actually have tools that work pretty well for this. But you can see here when you look at the amount of space that is taken up by the that's taken up by the gradient, you've got that much taken up there, and you've got that much taken up here, and you've only got that much taken up here. The actual fuzz over between the highlight and the shadow, or between the midtone and the shadow, is very simple. And you get the same basic thing with highlights. Highlights need to do kind of the opposite. So if you select the right layer, kind of put a highlight in there. Not bright enough. There we go. That's still bright enough. It needs to be set. And then we would again smooth that out. That's kind of what we end up with there. That's not bad, but I'm not happy with it. Just kind of smooth that out. Really do. It really doesn't make a difference which color you use to smooth in. I don't. Like I can use the mid-tone to smooth in here and tighten up this highlight. Just like I can use the shadow color here to smooth out that edge. I'm thinking maybe I want to kind of drag upward along the curvature. And just kind of smooth it. How does that look? Is that the kind of thing that I'm going for there? Doesn't look bad. I don't know. This is that. Back over here. Back to our line. Still lighter skin. Go here to do the light. We get a highlight in there. Kind of lighten it up. Coming in from the outside with skin tone. Then, still on our mid skin tones, let's go more saturated, a bit darker. And we'll come down into the red area. So, let's this barreling our strokes. And then we'll work that. Deeper, darker shadow effect. Let's that shadow a little farther as we then do a little more hue shift. As I do that bit, that actually looks better. And if I now take the blending brush, upward. So, it actually gives me a pretty good result. Switch back to a hard brush and carve out bottom line. Not bad at all. That's a much better look, I think, and it actually gives me a sense as I look at it that I'm looking at a kind of flesh-colored cylindrical thing. But the barreling of strokes here, I don't think is sufficiently. I don't think I did a great job on it. So, if I go substantially darker, saturate there. there and just a little here. Okay, this is okay. See, that just looks muddy. Not happy with that at all. Okay, so how do we want to how do we want to approach this from a standpoint of we're trying to improve? First of all, let's get a kind of palette up here. Come up here and grab that. Then we grab a shadow. That'll be our shadow color. Then we'll grab a highlight color. Okay, no wait. Our shadow color is to red direction. Something like that. And then our highlight color needs to skew in the yellow direction. So we'll do highlight around there. That direction. Saturate middle. Okay, so there's kind of our standard and our mid-tone and all of that. And go ahead and delete all of the notes bits. Okay, and grab a new layer. And on this new layer, we'll begin with the basic idea of here's the sort of shape we're working. This is a sectional cylinder, and as a sectional cylinder, it's going to have a kind of perspective where the shadow is kind of come along for the ride. Got our curve, and that curve is going to kind of tighten as we get closer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my highlight. We use a soft shade, and I'm going to use a much smaller brush. Small. Up here, we're going to do our highlight. Then we're going to grab surrounding area, and we're going to tighten up that. And then we'll grab our shadow, start with a nice kind of cell shade shadow right there. Then, you know what? Smooth it out by bringing mid-tone in. We'll bring the mid-tone in, smooth that out. There. go to our blending brush. So, and finally, arrow. Again. Finally, back to our brush. Wider. That is a better look, but I am not sure I'm happy. I try a few different approaches to this. I'll bring in the shadow over here. Bring in our highlight here. Then we'll fuzz the shadow. Yeah, that one. It's got a better feel to it, but like it stretch out a bit more. That to kind of shore that up. How does that come across? Does that give me a kind of sense that if we go back to our line, back up notes area, give us a good sense that got a sort of that's kind of what I'm going for, is this kind of twisting shape. I'm not entirely pleased with that. We are getting somewhere, though. We are making some form of progress. If we just create a new layer, lay in this kind of, well, let's lay in sort of a complex shape. in a shape that's kind of similar to a rib cage. Let's think about how the light is going to be. It is going to from across over here. There is a shadow bust line here. There's another shadow from the bust line here. Then it turns shadow here. Now a kind of center line there. Shadow there. Back. And then if we switch over to our soft shade, we want to fuzz in the direction. Fuzz that bit there. That here, but I'm going to fuzz that too. And then we want to highlight up here. Highlight up here on the top. Highlight up here on the top. Highlight at the top. Shoulders here. I don't want belly there. That's it's actually got some semblance of form to it. Shadow coming back. This highlight, because of the way breasts sit on the body, if you're looking directly at one of them, if like this is the rounded top of the breast here, you're looking at the other one almost sideways. Because when you look at, if you've got your two collarbones, color, if you've got your two collarbones here, so here are your two collarbones. Here's your back. All right, here is your neck, chin. Okay. Now, as you can see from the collarbones, the breastbone angles, and because it angles, Your breasts are about 90 degrees to each other. Right there, coming straight out from the center. And this is right where you put your nipples, which means that when you're looking at this from the front, when you're looking at it from the front, they're both kind of angled outward. And if you turn it, if you rotate it so that one of them is seen straight on, the other one, because it's at 90 degrees, that's going to be seen from a profile. And that's very important. All of that matters. This, this has been mildly productive. And it's been almost an hour. There's actual fucking art in this one. Oh my God. So let's see if we can't keep that up for the next 52 weeks, 51 weeks. I'm 20 minutes away from turning 54. It is very nearly my birthday. So this is the last video I'm doing at the age of 53, and really one of the big things that I notice here is that this thing that I just drew, or painted rather, that's much better than I could have done just last year, let alone 2 years ago. So that, that's something. I'm seeing that I'm seeing that progress is being made, and it's easy to get lost and to say, I'm not at my destination, I must not be making any progress. But I am making progress. I just don't look at it as often as I should. I don't look at it and say, this is a lot better than I would have done last year. I look at it and go, this is not good enough. I mean, this is kind of garbage. So I'm not happy with it, but I am happy that it's better than what I used to be doing. And I don't know. I think maybe I need to be doing more value. I don't think I need to do value studies. I think I need to. I think I need to keep pounding color theory into my head because I'm really, really bad at it. So well, maybe looking at it from a pure value perspective, from just black and white, maybe that will improve some stuff. Maybe instead of starting from there, maybe I begin with a kind of light gray color, like stone, and then work from that and just go, okay, let's go pure black for the shadows. And pure white for the highlights. If we just go pure white for the highlights, and what if I use a hard edge brush for all of them? I don't know. I mean, I certainly prefer the one I spent all that time on. But that that was done much more quickly and with a lot less thought put into it. I don't know. I'll think about that. Maybe I want to. Maybe I want to do some work with nothing but value for a while. Maybe I want to experiment with my tool. That's important to experiment with tools. See how together. Blend doesn't work well on vector layers. It's amazing that I can do this kind of vector in the first place. That's just really interesting. Anyway, that's where we'll leave things this week. And thank you for showing back up again for the premiere of season 3. Like, comment, subscribe, do the little YouTube dance, all of that shit. And yeah, okay, bye.